What's your if it's too good to be true then it probably is story? After my husband died, I was stuck with this huge house and 3 kids to feed. I'd been trying to rent out the upstairs for like 6 months. Nobody wanted it because the rent was pretty high, but I really needed that money. I was getting desperate, like eating ramen for dinner every night desperate. Then Jeremy showed up to my open house. Dude was like the perfect renter from a movie or something. He came with this thick folder of paperwork, credit score over 800, clean background check, references from his church pastor and 2 different jobs. He even brought homemade chocolate chip cookies for my kids, which totally melted my heart because my husband used to do stuff like that. The guy was so polite, called me ma'am, complimented how clean I kept the place, said he just wanted a quiet spot to live while he saved up for his own house. When I told him the rent was $1,200 a month, he didn't even flinch. He just smiled and said that sounded fair. Then he did something that made me think I'd hit the lottery. He pulled out an envelope full of cash and paid 6 months up front, $7,200, just like that. Said he preferred paying in advance to avoid any hassles. I tried to play it cool, but inside I was jumping up and down. That money meant I could finally catch up on my mortgage and buy groceries without counting every dollar. For the first 2 weeks, Jeremy was like the dream tenant. He was super quiet upstairs, always waved at the neighbors when he left for work in his clean Honda Civic. He'd take out the trash without me asking, and even fixed my squeaky front door. My neighbor Paula kept telling me how lucky I was to find such a nice young man. Then the packages started coming. At first it was just 1 or 2 a day, which seemed normal, but by the 3rd week, the mailman was dropping off like 15 packages every single day. Different names on every single box. David Williams, Jennifer Moore, Carlos Valdez, names I'd never heard before. When I asked Jeremy about all the packages, he just laughed and said he ran an online business selling stuff on eBay. Said he bought things in bulk and resold them. That's why there were so many different supplier names. Made sense to me. Lots of people do that these days. But then strangers started showing up at my door. This lady knocked on Tuesday asking if someone named Nicole lived here. Thursday, it was some guy looking for Rick. Friday, another woman asked about Janelle. I kept telling them nobody by those names lived here, but they insisted they had the right address. My kids started getting scared because people were knocking at all hours. My 8-year-old daughter asked me why so many angry people kept coming to our house. I didn't know what to tell her. One night around midnight, I woke up to flashing red and blue lights outside my bedroom window. There were like 6 police cars in my driveway. My heart nearly stopped because I thought something happened to one of my kids. 2 officers knocked on my door and asked if they could search the premises. They had a warrant. Turns out Jeremy had been running this massive credit card fraud thing from my attic. He was using stolen identities to buy expensive stuff online, then selling it for cash. All those packages, bought with fake credit cards using real people's information. The different names, all victims whose identities he'd stolen. That 6 months of rent he paid up front was money he got from selling stolen goods. The cops found computers, fake IDs, credit card machines, thousands of dollars in cash, and boxes full of stuff he'd bought with other people's money. My house was officially a crime scene. But here's the worst part. Child Protective Services got involved because they said I was running an illegal business out of my home with kids living there. I had to prove I had no idea what was happening, which took months of lawyers and investigations and court dates I couldn't afford. They almost took my kids away because of this guy. I had to move in with my sister for 3 months while they finished their investigation. My neighbors looked at me like I was some kind of criminal. And Jeremy? He disappeared the night before the raid. Someone must have tipped him off. Police never found him. He left behind a fake ID and probably went to scam some other desperate single mom. The house sat empty for 8 months because nobody wanted to rent a place that had been raided by police. I lost almost 2 years of potential rental income and spent thousands on legal fees trying to clear my name.